Contrasts in development. Development in geography refers to the process by which a country becomes wealthier and improves the quality of life for its people. This involves advancements in the economy, healthcare, education, and infrastructure. However, the world's wealth and resources are not shared equally, leading to significant contrasts in development between different regions. In 2017, the wealth gap between the richest and poorest countries was striking. The richest 50 countries, known as more economically developed countries, (ENETCs), owned 62% of the world's wealth, but had only 15% of the world's population. On the other hand, the poorest 50 countries, known as less economically developed countries, LEDCs, had only 6% of the world's wealth, but were home to 38% of the world's population. This unequal distribution of wealth highlights the challenges that poorer countries face in improving their standard of living. The term development refers to how advanced a country's economy, infrastructure, and social systems are. Countries with well-developed economic systems, modern technology, and efficient industries are typically wealthier and more stable. These countries are classified as MEDCs. In contrast, LEDCs often have economies that are based on agriculture or basic industries, limited infrastructure, and poorer healthcare and education systems. The development gap refers to the difference in wealth and standard of living between the richest and poorest countries. This gap is often referred to as the North-South divide, because most of the wealthiest countries are in the Northern Hemisphere, such as the United States, European nations, and Japan, while most of the poorest countries are in the Southern Hemisphere, particularly in Africa, South Asia, and parts of Latin America. There are exceptions to this pattern. For example, Australia and New Zealand are wealthy countries in the Southern Hemisphere, while Japan is a highly developed nation despite having limited natural resources. On the other hand, many countries in the tropical regions of the world, where the climate is harsher and more prone to natural disasters like droughts, cyclones, and floods, tend to be less developed. The reasons for the North-South divide are complex and include both physical geography and political history. Many of the world's MEDCs were once colonial powers that controlled territories in LEDCs. These colonial relationships often resulted in the exploitation of resources in poorer countries, leaving them less able to develop their own economies after gaining independence. In addition, the way global trade is structured today still creates barriers for many LEDCs, making it difficult for them to access markets or get fair prices for their goods. For instance, many poorer countries depend on exporting raw materials like coffee, cotton, or minerals. However, global trade rules and market fluctuations often mean that these countries earn very little from their exports. Meanwhile, wealthier countries, which produce high-value manufactured goods, benefit more from international trade. This economic imbalance is one of the reasons why the development gap persists. In conclusion, the contrasts in development between MEDCs and LEDCs are stark, with wealth and resources concentrated in a relatively small number of wealthy countries. The reasons for these disparities include both natural factors like geography and climate, and historical factors like colonialism and the structure of global trade. Reducing the development gap requires addressing these complex issues to help poorer countries build stronger economies and improve the quality of life for their citizens.